Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Want to be a part of the Nerd Party community? Don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/thenerdparty and follow us on Twitter at JoinNerdParty. You can also help us by leaving a rating and comment in Apple Podcasts to help spread Time and Space to other listeners. If you want to contact us, visit thenerdparty.com/contact, click on our show logo, and leave a comment for us there. Welcome to Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus. What are we going to be talking about today, Donna?
We're doing lists. Today is about ranking the 10th Doctor.
Oh, good. I was afraid it was a list of things we have to do.
Oh, God, no. We could be here for days just making the list.
And then for our Inside the TARDIS Library segment, we're going to be talking about the weakest link episode of Doctor Who. So some updates, just for some random sort of as our potpourri section, I guess, if you will.
Okay.
So
Potpourri section.
for my birthday, you got me many things. One of the things you got me was a graphic novel, Doctor Who graphic novel set.
From
England.
I did, yeah. From the official Doctor Who shop museum.
Yeah.
Which we visited.
Yeah.
She says with a toss of her hair.
And so this was the 10th Doctor. It's called Sins of the Father. And I believe, without flipping through it as we talk here, it's 3 sort of issues, if you will. Or maybe it's 2. But anyway, it was interesting because it has companions that we have not ever seen on the telly. It is Gabby Gonzalez and Cindy Wu as the 10th Doctor's companions. And as I was, going through these stories here, I think it's set during the Doctor Who special era.
Okay.
So it's after Donna, and then, before he regenerates, obviously. Because there's one story that makes reference to the Doctor's talking about the song ending or something, and that's sort of what the Ood had told him.
Right, yeah.
Your song will end. And so, yeah, it was interesting. I won't go through all of them here. But, it's certainly, obviously, like, these are part of the larger stories. So it's like, you're sort of starting in the middle with these different issues. So I don't know. I feel like there should be a number on here. What this number 6, whatever that means.
Okay.
But anyway, it was still interesting to learn a little bit about these characters because, like I said, there's obviously certainly some backstory I've missed, not having been up on the comics. But they were all very interesting. And there was one. All right, this is always difficult to do while you're doing the podcast and while talking. There was one panel that I particularly wanted to show you, if I can find it. There was a sort of section at the end. I don't know if it was sort of almost like a mini issue or mini story, because the story starts with the 10th Doctor, but sort of a shorter compared to the other ones, and ends up going through the 11th Doctor and then ending with the 12th Doctor.
Oh, wow.
So, but there's a moment with the 11th Doctor where he's going back in time, and he actually has a photo of something that he's been to.
And it is Hamilton.
And he's met up with the 2nd Doctor.
Who is obviously also at Hamilton.
Because he says he keeps meeting his past incarnations going to Hamilton.
Because everybody's got to see it.
Exactly. So, so that was thought that you'd appreciate that. So, but yeah, it was an interesting storytelling. So, also they also had a story that tied in with Pyramid of Mars. I swear, everyone wants to tie in with Pyramid of Mars. But anyway, so
there you go.
And then I thought we're still watching Blackpool.
We are.
What are you thinking? I don't even know. We're on episode 4, maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's just still so weird. singing is such a strange. I really, and I don't know if you've looked at all. I know that I haven't for interviews with the cast.
Uh-huh.
I need to know what people were saying about this because it is such a bizarre concept. It's not a bad concept necessarily, and I'm enjoying the storyline to see where it goes and to see who done it and all of those sorts of things, and if David Tennant gets the girl at the end, or if he's just homewrecker Harry, who knows. But yeah, the singing, the dancing, and it's not even like I'm watching this going, I should write some of these moves down because I might have to choreograph another musical at some point. These seem fairly simple. It's just really, I mean, you can almost see the actors counting as they're doing their dance moves. It's fantastically horrific.
So I feel like if we ever interviewed David, it would have to be like, so, you've
done lots of amazing, brilliant things. Let's talk about.
but you did Blackpool, and it's certainly not the only role you've had as a sort of murder investigator. Do you think Broadchurch would have benefited from more lip syncing?
With more lip syncing. Or more Elvis. I mean, to be fair, half the cast is there already.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just in preparation. Seriously, if you have not watched any of it, you have to. You just have to.
I mean, we're watching it on YouTube, so it's available.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it just defies explanation.
Oh, goodness.
Because it's a serious show. Like, it's not a comedy.
No.
This is a murder mystery television
Family
series. Family drama that just happens to have
lip syncing
and very simple, easy to do choreography.
And we always look forward to who will be showing up on the spinning wheels.
Yes, yeah, on the, what is it?
Slot machine.
Slot machine, yeah. And what they'll be, oh, it's so bizarre. But we digress. We'll move on.
Yes. So this is the end of October. So this is our end of all things 10th Doctor. So I thought we'd sort of do almost a random bout here of sort of ranking different things about the 10th Doctor. Sort of having to make decisions. So I thought we'd start off with ranking the 10th Doctor's companions. So we all know who they are, but just to go over it. So we have Rose, Martha, and Donna. And then we do have some others throughout the different specials and series, but you can either ignore them or not. So, darling, who is your number one ranked 10th Doctor companion?
I think I'm going to go with Wilfred.
There you go.
I think I'm going with Wilfred. I just love him.
From the end of time.
Yes.
Why do you think he works well with the 10th Doctor?
Because he has such a sense of awe about the whole thing. There is no cynicism. There is no toughness. There is no romantic chemistry. He is just along for the ride and loving every minute of it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just think it's the purity of it.
I think my number one 10th Doctor companion is probably going to be Martha.
I knew. I can't believe you were even like, oh, I think, and probably. I knew it was going to be Martha.
Yeah,
State it with pride, mister.
And, yeah, the whole pining for the Doctor. I mean, that's not why. It's just an interesting or perhaps not interesting characteristic to her. But I think with the others, and nothing against the others, but I think she starts off highly competent in and of herself. She's a medical student, young, of course, but medical student. And she certainly has this sort of capability and shows that capability in that first episode. That's why the Doctor is, quote unquote, attracted to her. And because she's the one that, it's like the whole If and Rudyard Kipling, when keeps their head when all about you or whatever.
Then she'll be a man. Isn't that the way that ends?
A doctor. Yeah, and so and of course, it helps that there's really good stories in the series 3.
I was going to say she has some of the best stories,
and she also does a lot of. It's all competitive. So, but anyway, because I just think of like 2 things off the top of my head. Number one. Of course, the last 2-parter where she literally walks the earth, telling the doctor's story in order to save everything.
How biblical.
Yeah, and then 2, and another 2-parter, which, you would think this isn't a big deal, but in the Family Blood, whatever the other episode is called, where she's, the servant, which she's very cognizant of that social status of having to play that role. But she's obviously the caretaker to the Doctor / John Smith, of having to look after him while not looking after him. And she sort of has to play that role, because she's the one in charge in that episode because he doesn't know who he is. And she's the one who has to sort of balance all those plates and make everything work. So she's responsible for the Doctor. She has, duty of care.
Yes, yeah. And I also think she has the most interesting continuing story. Mm-hmm. After she stops being a companion. We see all 3 of the main companions post-companion.
Right. Hood.
Companionhood. Post-companionhood. I don't think that's a... No. And she, I think, has the most growth and has the most... she's quite like Sarah Jane. She carries on fighting the fight. Whereas, we don't know. Rose shows up, and every time she shows up, it's always very bittersweet. But we don't actually know what she's doing in that alternate universe.
Mayor Torchwood or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. And Donna, of course, just goes back to...
factory reset.
Yeah, which just makes me so sad. So Martha definitely has the more compelling post-Doctor life.
Okay, well, let's do the hard one then second. Number 2. We'll just do 1 and 2. So what's your second one? So Wilfred aside.
Yeah, I don't want... Can I say Wilfred again?
You can't.
Okay. I think I'm probably going to go with Rose.
Okay. And why with the 10th Doctor?
I guess because for me, she's the quintessence. She's my companion.
Right.
If that.
Interesting. I don't think I would have had. I'll have to think about that question. Who is my companion?
Yeah.
Might be Amy. Not that I necessarily like her the most, but because I'm so tied to 11. But go ahead. Yeah,
and I could talk about Amy and Rory for ages, but Rose is still to me the.
For New Who, that's the companion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like, and this is going to sound, because I said, Wilfred's my favorite because of the purity and there's no chemistry. I like the chemistry between the 10th Doctor and Rose. Not the romantic chemistry, just the general. She's just so darn plucky. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of time for that.
For my second one, I don't know, I'd have to think about it. Because... I think about Rose like I think about the 10th Doctor is like I get people like them, but not my favorite, personally. So it's like I get people like Rose, but not my favorite. Donna, I certainly have nothing against her, but I'm looking at the list to see if anyone jumps out at me. Well, I've always had a soft spot for Michelle Ryan, but that's neither here nor there. So I don't know, between Rose and Donna then.
Or Wilfred. Wilfred, you haven't said Wilfred yet.
I haven't. You know what? I'll go with Donna as my second pick then. And I don't know why I'm so hesitant, because for some reason I sort of have like the fan theory or the fan general opinion, which may or may not be true. But, it's like, people love people love Rose, and then Martha, and people are like, Donna. Yeah, but I don't think people don't like Donna, but anyway. But the stories, because I think she definitely brings out, like, even in that first episode, or first special, or first appearance of Runaway Bride, which has been a while since I've seen it, but what little I remember is that she sort of saves the 10th Doctor from himself, or from going too far, and so she's always sort of been that heart of the Doctor, for the 10th Doctor, which you could say all the companions are, but I think she's the one that always brings it back, even though she sort of has the rough personality and the humor and all that. But I think she shows that heart, the compassion part, the most out of the three companions.
Yeah.
I think they all have it, but I think Donna has it the most. I mean, the quintessential would be, Volcano Day. The Fires of Pompeii.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking of. And I think, even when I think about Donna's tenure, think about the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
The first things I think about are her showing up in the TARDIS in her wedding dress and being just so indignant about the whole thing, and the mate comment, we're not gonna mate. That's not what I mean, and the mouthing at each other through the window. The first thing you think about with Donna is the comedy she brought. But as you say, she brings a whole lot of empathy and, like in the Fires of Pompeii, there's so much beautiful work that she does that I think gets cast in the shadow.
Because even the character is such, for as brash and loud she is. I think it's honestly, when you think about it, she might actually, out of all the companions, be the most well-defined character or the most rich character, because she's brash and loud, right? But she has super big insecurity. She's because she has her mom's voice in her head. You're not worth, or you could be doing so much better. You're not doing anything. You're not living up to your full potential. You're just a tenth from Chiswick. And that's all she ever hears in her head. And I think you see that in her series of her growing to see that she does have capabilities. Because she's like, oh, I can't do that, and I'm nothing special, and I'm not, and that whole turn left, I think that's the name of the episode, with, the roach on her back and Rose trying to save her. But anyway, that whole, the difference that Donna has made. But anyway.
Yeah, and I think, and this is partly why I love him, but Wilfred plays a part in that, making her well-rounded and giving her that strength that she doesn't get from her mother. And so giving her more dimensions than, as you say, we see with... Because, Rose has her family around as well, and Martha to an extent, although not nearly, obviously, to the extent that Rose and Donna do. But Rose's family is, first of all, quite loving. Her mom's very much cares about her, but also very much like her.
Right. And
so there's not a lot of growth. Whereas when you're looking at Donna's family, her mom and her granddad, all of that contributes and is much more fully developed, I would say.
Sure. All right. Well, let's move on to our next category.
Okay.
Or dogatry.
No. Stop. Wrong script.
Ranking Christmas specials.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a reminder, the 10th Doctor had... Well, you go ahead and read it.
Looks like 5 Christmas specials. The Christmas Invasion, which is his first one, right? Mm-hmm. The Runaway Bride, which is Donna's appearance. Voyage of the Damned, which is Kylie Minogue. The Next Doctor.
With his Blackpool co-star.
With David Morrissey. And The End of Time Part 1.
Uno.
Which is, yes...
So, out of that list, what would you say is your top?
I don't know that you can put The End of Time Part 1 without Part 2.
And yet, there it is.
Yeah, and I don't like it, so cut that crap out. I think probably Voyage of the Damned. That's what I'm going with.
I'm going with Voyage of the Damned, too.
Yeah.
But why would you say? Because I agree.
Partly because it's just got such a fantastic lead-in. Mm-hmm. In the episode before, when all of a sudden the Titanic crashes into the TARDIS, I think it's fantastic. And it's also one of those that is completely standalone. Mm-hmm. In a way that the Next Doctor certainly is. The End of Time Part 1 clearly is not. The Christmas Invasion has a lot of history with it. And even The Runaway Bride, although it wasn't confirmed at that point, ultimately leads. So, and sometimes I really like the standalone episodes.
Mm-hmm. And it really is a Christmas special.
Yes. Yes. Without it being a continuation of whatever. Which doesn't make those bad. I just like this one because of that. Love a little bit of Russell Tovey. Love a little bit of Russell Tovey. And Kylie Minogue's adorable. She always is. She's, 98 now or something ridiculous, and she's still adorable. She's not 98, I know that.
Send your letters, too. Yeah, because I think with Voyage of the Damned, I mean, obviously it's a riff of the Poseidon Adventure. Or just a ripoff of the Poseidon Adventure. But I think the reason the Poseidon Adventure works, the original, not the remake. I haven't seen the remake, to tell you the truth, so I don't know if the remake works.
Moving on.
But with Voyage of the Damned, because it's not only David and Kylie, but you have this whole cast of characters.
The little red guy.
I forget what you call it. Yes.
The little red guy.
Bottom,
Yeah.
I look him, but not on the... but then you have the helpless human who doesn't know anything about Earth, keeps making facts up. You have the two large couple.
The tourists.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, who are very, and then there's like the bad guy. I was trying to think of the best way, the bastard, who ends up, like, spoiler alert, being the only one who lives, which I think is an interesting writing thing, that he's the only one who actually lives. I feel like we're probably messing. But anyway, that whole, crazy cast, because that's the whole reason you do these things. You put these crazy characters together, and they have to survive somehow, and then you have flying angel robots and trying to kill you and all that stuff. And so it makes for a whole adventure.
Yep. What's your second choice?
Second choice would be, I don't know. Let me think here. I don't think Christmas Invasion. It's fine, but it's fine. Runaway Bride I haven't seen enough recently, so I don't really remember it that well. And I agree with you about End of Time. But does Next of Doctor stand up as a second choice? I may say Runaway Bride without remembering it that well.
I'm going with Runaway Bride as well. Again,
you get a TARDIS car chase.
Yep. And giant, creepy, spidery things.
Right. Which theoretically, didn't you read where the
woman from Blackpool played the spidery thing?
I can't see it. I'd have to.
Yeah, well, we'll have to go back and watch it. But yeah, and again, because it was originally considered a one-off before Donna rejoins, I think there's a lot of interesting things happening with it. So yeah, that's what I'm going with for my second choice.
Sure. Go with that. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, agreement. And then ranking series premieres.
Yep.
Because I was thinking about this. Companions don't necessarily translate into series, don't necessarily translate into series premieres. So, I didn't count the specials, because, there's really 4 series of the 10th Doctor with the specials year or era. But I just did the actual series. So you had New Earth.
Quick summary.
That was the one with Rose, and they go, and it's the cat people. It's New York.
Mm-hmm.
Face of Bo.
Right.
And then you have
Smith and Jones.
Smith and Jones, which is the Jadoon and the Moon. And then you have Partners in Crime with your favorite pieces of fat.
Well, there you go. Mm-hmm. That's my first choice.
Adipose.
Love a little bit of adipose. So cute. So yeah, I'm done.
So Partners in Crime.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Because I think they're cute. And everybody, it's another one of those that I particularly like where the bad guys aren't. I mean, the nanny is.
Right.
But the adipose themselves are just babies. And they're doing what they're meant to be doing. And the Doctor manages, and it's killing people.
Right.
But they don't know any better, and the Doctor manages to save them and send them all back to their mummies and daddies. They're giant adipose.
And then the nanny just falls and splat.
Yeah, these things happen. Because she was bad nanny.
It's hard for me to say no to Smith and Jones. You have the Jadoon, you have the Dr. Martha meeting, and you have the Doctor having to disguise himself as a Time Lord, so I think that's why he makes out with Martha, so he looks human. and then you have the vampire lady. I forget what alien she is, who's sucking people dry or whatever, disguised in the hospital too, and it's just and the Jejun doing Jejun type things. Ocho mocho rocho.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just a fun little adventure.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that out of 3, picking your second choice is, but I think that would probably be my second choice.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, then let's go from premieres to finales.
So we've got Doomsday.
Right.
Quick summary.
Rose gets sucked into a wall.
Right. Yep. Last of the Time Lords.
The Master becomes Prime Minister and then gets shot by his wife.
Yep. And Journey's End.
That's where that's going to be so hard. That's where everyone shows up.
Oh, right. That's
Torchwood, Sarah Jane.
Is this Dr. Donna?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's where the Stolen Earth and they have to.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, Journey's, and I guess maybe the answer is Journey's End for me. Because, I mean, it seems inevitable, but it's not necessarily that the 10th Doctor who has collected all these folks and all these spinoffs. So you literally have Torchwood, you have Sarah Jane, you have all 3 companions, Rose and Martha and Donna. I'm trying to remember who's all around. Then you have the second 10th Doctor, and is that and then you have Rose's, Jackie's there, I think, as well. And so you literally have sort of this big Doctor Who crossover event.
/ reunion show.
Right. Yeah, and so it sort of is the Doctor's family. Of course, that's the whole point with
Davros, yeah.
Because when you have Davros talking about the children of time or whatever he's talking about with all of that, and you have the different ways, whether it's Martha trying to use the bomb on Earth to blow up the Earth, or whether you have Jack with a crystal trying to blow up things, and then how does the Doctor feel that all these companions he's developed are now have all these are fighters and soldiers or whatever. But I mean it's just this great crossover event that I think it's hard, even though it's really a part 2 of whatever. But it's just a great crossover event.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think that one's my favorite out of the 3 for the same reason. I love the idea that nobody goes away forever. Mm. I'm still convinced, even though we have actually seen, and maybe that's why, we've seen Riversong die, but then we've also seen her as a ghost. So there's absolutely no reason why she can't show up for the 13th Doctor. And that's, those are the things that I love, is that you never know who's going to rock up. And that's a lot of fun. And so when they all rock up, it's even better.
And then you sort of have that bittersweet full journey of Journey's End, where you have, that moment in the TARDIS with everyone flying the TARDIS, but then at the very end, post Donna wipe, you have that Wilfred scene with the Doctor in the rain, and, who do you have? No one. And the Doctor, and Wilfred, says, I'll be, thinking about you or whatever, and gives him the salute in the rain or whatever.
Yeah, again, Wilfred.
And the lonely Doctor disappears.
All the love. All the love. Yep. Well, there you go. Any more lists we need to make?
I think that's enough. But any final thoughts about the 10th Doctor era before we...
Oh, gosh, yeah. We're about
regenerate?
to go into... Yeah. Looking forward to going back into the Matt Smith era.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. No, I love the 10th Doctor. As always, having to choose between 10th and 11th would be really difficult for me.
Yeah, and to me, the 10th Doctor era, like I said, not necessarily the 10th Doctor is necessarily my favorite, but just because of the way I watched Doctor Who, I was going to say New Who, but just Doctor Who in general, the 10th Doctor and his era was sort of what Doctor Who was. That was sort of the standard. Mm. And so, anything could either be better or worse than that. And so, I tend to think the 11th Doctor is better, but that's me. But that's sort of the standard is the 10th Doctor era. And so that's sort of how I judge things against, typically.
Yeah, and I just think David Tennant's such a delight. And I think, again, when thinking between the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith does not have as extensive an oeuvre as 'twere, although he is apparently on the West End at the minute with Claire Foy. So that's exciting. Who plays?
Again.
Yeah, absolutely. So them coming back together.
And it's apparently going to be in the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Say.
Oh, okay. I won't see it, so there you go. And he will. You know, that's not he's just so much
he's already graduated from being Prince Phillip. So.
Yeah. And so, you know, David Tennant has so much stuff to look at and so many interesting things, you know, his podcast, and I just find him to be such a delight that I have very warm feelings.
And we'll have to, I watched the trailer for the new Netflix series, and now, of course, I still can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But anyway, it's this interrogation series, and it does take place in different countries. So that's why there's different country versions. And so whatever the name of it is, UK, I think there's 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And David plays one of the suspects who gets interviewed. And it's the woman from Class, the teacher.
Oh, right. Yes. Whose name escapes me, but
she's one of the investigators.
Quill is the character,
she plays
but
one of the investigators.
Oh, that'd be fun, because she was so delightful as Quill in Class. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's go on to the TARDIS library.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
Or if we're into the TARDIS library, we're going to, help say goodbye to the 10th Doctor era with a little bit of pop culture celebration. We've seen...
I think actually we're going to say goodbye.
Yes, we're going to be talking about the Weakest Link Doctor Who special.
Yes.
That premiered
on the 30th of... Well, it didn't just premiere. It aired. That's when it was. On the 30th of March, 2007.
Yes. And so... I don't know. I feel like I have to explain the Weakest Link. But anyway, y'all know what it is. If not, look it up. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if you know Doctor Who, you've seen part of the Weakest Link already.
That's true. In the Series 1, 9th Doctor finale, it's whatever. Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways? Anyway. But yes, on Satellite 5,
Yep.
We had the reality shows with Big Brother, The Weakest Link, whatever the fashion show, I guess.
Oh, yeah, Trini and Susanna.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So there you go.
Which is why this particular episode of The Weakest Link opened with
the robot
Anne from the series.
Yes. So it's now starred. So it had David, of course. It had,
you got to go in order, baby.
I know.
Okay, so you start with John.
John Barrowman. I can't remember his last name, but John Barrowman.
And then Noel.
Noel Clarke.
And
Andrew.
Then Andrew.
Who is one of the Cybermen fighters.
Yep, in the alternate universe.
And then you had David Tennant.
Then
you had Tracy Ann.
Who was the
head of Torchwood.
Claire.
Who played a scientist. And then you had Camille.
And
then you had
Nick.
And
K9.
Yeah, and then K9.
Yeah, Nick, who is the voice of the Daleks.
And, the producer of Big Finish, of course.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, all of them competing together.
So, how would you, before we get to the winner and just everything else, what was your favorite?
Yeah, I've seen this lots of times, and I always enjoy it. Oh, poor thing. I got to be honest, Noel was quite cheeky. That was a lot of fun to watch. John Barrowman, in typical John Barrowman fashion, took it right up to the line. Almost took that step over it. K9 obviously was a delight. David just had this lovely aw shucks thing about him.
I think that's an interesting thing, because obviously he's I don't know what it's like to be ahead of the star of a show, but he doesn't act like it. This was sort of a group outing. He wasn't in charge. He wasn't. No,
not at all. Yeah, had this lovely humbleness. Mm-hmm. I was concerned. First of all, I was surprised because Andrew, for the first 3 rounds, was the strongest link. And I was like, who is this guy? I was also surprised because they had a question about Biker Grove. And of course, I knew Ant and Dec had been on Biker Grove. But I didn't realize that he had. It was not a show I ever watched. Ant and Dec being a part of it, or the only reason I know it exists. But I was like, oh, okay, there you go. I was a little concerned that they seemed to be voting off the women fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And I was concerned that it was going to be an all-boys club.
Right.
And then it turned out not to be.
Yeah.
Loved that Anne called Jackie a slapper. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that Jackie is actually a slapper. I was just delighted because I hadn't heard that word in a while. So that was fun.
Well, I did. It was fun with how, Anne's playing her role, but she also was turning it around a little bit on the boys, David, was it your choice whose choice was it to make you sexy?
Oh, and he was just, when he gets voted off, and she's just like, I think you're gorgeous. And he was just so, gobsmacked there for a minute. So cute.
Yes.
Just such a lovely fella, he seems like.
And we sort of had a surprise finale with Noel and Camille.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it was David who said after he was voted off that Camille was convinced she was going to go out in the first round. Mm-hmm. So for her to come back and win it was exciting. Yeah,
it was interesting because Anne was certainly picking on Camille. So anytime Camille got the answer right, Anne would be like, yes!
Yeah.
But she got all the way to it. And you could actually tell... Camille's really ditzy, but she was having some problems early on, but you could tell she was suddenly like halfway through the show, like, oh, okay, I'm doing this now.
Yeah, absolutely, and got some really not easy questions right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was quite pleased for her, and as you say, started off a little nervous, and then sort of found her groove, and was like, no. Don't and maybe that was her ploy all along.
That's right, false sense of security.
Because I'll be honest, when it got down to about halfway through, I was like, y'all don't need to be voting her off because she's the one you want to go against at the end. You can beat her, vote Andrew off, you can beat Camille, and then it turns out, oh no, you couldn't.
For the win.
Yeah, which I just think is great. So maybe that was her plan all along to twirl her hair a little bit in the first couple of rounds, particularly under the assumption that K9 was going first.
I'm not sure the audience was more sad to see David or John.
Yeah, it was a tough call. But yeah, finale with Noel and Camille. And it wasn't particularly auspicious. They did not do terribly well, I think.
There was a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think out of the first 5 questions, each of them got 2 right.
Yeah, out of the 5.
And then, so they went to sudden death, and Camille got her question right, and Noel did not get his right. So, that was it. She got 3 questions right out of 6, and he got 2 out of 6. So, not a knuckle biter kind of thing, but
it's kind of a. I'm sure it's been off the air at this point, but it's sort of an interesting game because of the banking system. And do you risk keeping on going? And and it is interesting the strategy to use. So because as she pointed out, they could have. There was about 2 different times they could have gone straight through and won everything, but that confidence level is. Do you bank? Do you keep on going? All that. So
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So that was fun. Again, it's also on YouTube there, so we'll probably put the clip in the show notes for everyone to check out.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, so the new month is coming. It's time to say goodbye, even though it doesn't want to go, and say hello to Matt Smith in the 11th Doctor era, new showrunner Stephen Moffat, and everything that brings with it.
Cleaning house. Yeah.
So what's going to be the topic we'll be talking about next week?
Next week, we are going to we're going to jump straight on in and compare Matt Smith's first episode to his last.
So we'll be looking at the 11th hour and comparing it to the time of the Doctor. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm trying to remember the last episode because it's the name of the Doctor and then the day of the Doctor. I think it's the time of the Doctor is that final special where the clock strikes 12.
Dum, dum, dum.
So yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Love a little Matt Smith.
And as always, we want to thank
Wally and the Sononauts
for providing us with their jazz Doctor Who theme tune at the beginning. And until next week, we hope you enjoy the Doctor's many adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.